Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for um, the webinar for ninth grade students at Mountain View and Los Altos High School. Today we are going to talk to you all about Naviance, which is a software system that you may or may not know about yet, but we are going to teach you all about it today. So my name is Miss Aver, and I am a college counselor at Mountain View High School. And then we also have Miss Lowe, who you can probably see on your screen, and she is also a college counselor here at Mountain View. And then if you're joining us today and you attend Los Altos High School, you are still in the right spot. So thank you for coming. So your college counselors at Los Altos High School are Miss Price and Miss Wallace, and you can see our photos here. During the webinar today, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A, and we will be able to help you via the Q&A. And then also, if you have any questions, or once we get to it, if you're not able to log on to Naviance, that's okay. You can send an email to Miss Lowe or myself, and we will help you. We might not be able to help you during the webinar, but we will definitely get back to you at some point. And please use the Q&A for questions. We're not able to take questions via the raising the hand feature because there's going to be several hundred of you on this webinar. Okay, perfect. So on this next slide, we just really wanted to welcome you to high school. So whether you're at Mountain View High School or Los Altos High School, you have a school counselor. So at your high school, you might have Miss Wise, Mr. Carter, you might have Mr. Romo, Miss Ho, and then you also have something called a college counselor. So regardless of being at Mountain View or Los Altos, you have a college and career center and you have college counselors there in addition to your high school counselors. So your high school counselors are the ones that help you pick your classes, make your schedule, and they're the ones that see you through from ninth through 12th grade. And then the college counselors, so that's Miss Lowe and myself at Mountain View High School, and then Miss Price and Miss Wallace at Los Altos. We are the people that help you think about your plans for what you want to do when you are done with high school. So at the College and Career Center, our goal is that every student who graduates from Mountain View or Los Altos has a plan of what you want to do once you're done being at Mountain View or Los Altos High School. So most importantly, we really want you to leave high school with a plan. So something that you have in mind that you want to do once you are done with high school. So about 90% of students have told us that they really want to go to a 4-year college after high school. Some students want to go to community college. Some students want to join the military. Some students want to take a gap year. Some students want to begin working. Our goal is to make sure that no matter what, you have a plan for once you are finished at Mountain View or Los Altos High School. And so we're going to tell you a little bit more about some high school details as well as resources to help you come up with that plan for your time at Mountain View High School. Okay, so on the next slide, we are going to talk to you about something called the A through G requirements. So in case you couldn't tell, there's a lot of acronyms that are used in education, and this is just another one of them. So A through G requirements represent different subject areas that are required that you take coursework in order to be eligible to apply to a 4-year college. And our high school graduation requirements line up really nicely with these A through G requirements as well. So A through G just represents different subject areas. So area A is 2 years of history. Area B, you have to take 4 years of English no matter what. You're always going to be in an English class at Mountain View or Los Altos High School. And then math, so at least through Algebra 2 to be eligible to apply to a 4-year college. Area D is science. So that's 2 years of a laboratory science. Area E is 2 years of a world language, and that's the same world language. So if you started at Spanish 1 this year, and then you want to, change to French for sophomore year, you can do that. But if you started at Spanish 1 and then did French 1, that's not considered 2 years. It has to be 2 years of the same world language. And then it's 1 year of a visual or performing art class. So that's something like choir, stagecraft, dance, a music class, and then 1 year of something called a college prep elective. And a college prep elective is just anything that is above and beyond these requirements. So if you took a third year of a world language, a fourth year of math, if you took science for all 4 years, then you have your college prep elective. Okay. So there's A through G requirements, and then there's high school requirements. So on the next slide, we have an overview of our MBLA high school graduation requirements. So no matter if you're here and you attend Los Altos High School, or you're here and you attend Mountain View High School, these high school graduation requirements are the same. So like I was saying before, very similar to the A through G requirements. So you're going to be in this first column here where it says class of 2027 plus, because we did have some changes to our graduation requirements. And you are in the class of 2028 because you are in ninth grade. So these are the requirements here. I'm not going to go over them all again because I know that your school counselors have shared this information with you as well, but I will highlight that one of the main areas where our high school graduation requirements differ from college requirements is that you do need 2 years of PE and then also a semester of health, and then we also require electives. So if you see on this chart, electives, it says 55 credits, which sounds like a lot, but after you fulfill the minimum requirement for math and science, which is 20 credits, everything else will start to funnel into electives. So even though it seems like a lot, it is very easy to get up to that number of elective credits. And I also wanted to share that this presentation will be available on our website. And this chart is a really nice chart because it shows a comparison between our high school graduation requirements and the A through G requirements at the University of California system, which is UCLA, UC Davis, UC Santa Barbara, et cetera, and the California State University system, which is the CSU system. So that's San Jose State, Cal Poly. And you can see how they are very, very similar between the two systems and how they do line up really nicely with our high school graduation requirements as well. Okay, so the next page of this slideshow, I'm going to talk to you about some of just the specific college and career resources that are available to you either at Los Altos, if that's your home high school, or Mountain View, if that's your home high school. So both Los Altos and Mountain View have a College and Career Center website, and it's linked here. Again, this presentation will be shared with you so you can access all of these links. We have a shared YouTube channel that is between both of our schools. We both have a software system that I'm going to explain to you a little bit later called Naviance. What's really important about Naviance is when you first log into it, you're going to want to use something called the single sign-on. So it's going to log you in automatically if you're logged in with your MBLA account. And Naviance is where you keep track of activities you've done, where you research potential colleges and careers, and so much more, which we will explain later. And then if you attend Los Altos High School, you have something called, I think you call it ACT or ACT, and that is 2 days a week. And at Mountain View, it's during tutorial. And during that time in the College and Career Center, we host a lot of different events and workshops. And then, of course, we each have an Instagram where you can find out about most up-to-date activities, volunteer opportunities, jobs, so many things. So please do check those out. Okay, the next slide is just a really quick page for you to see This is what the Los Altos High School College and Career Center website looks like. So to access it, you go to the main Los Altos High School website. It's under Student Services. And this is the main page where you can find all things CCC related for Los Altos. And on the next slide, it's very similar. It's just going to show you the Mountain View High School College and Career Center website, which a lot of people refer to as the CCC. So again, this is just here for you to reference. And now Ms. Lowe is going to talk to you a little bit more specifically about Naviance and how to sign on and how it works.
All right. Oh, I think I might be frozen. Can you hear me, Miss Severe? Can you shake your head up and down if you can hear me? Okay. Let me try. Let me try turning off my video and turning it back on and see if that. Yay! All right, excellent. So once again, if you have questions, please use the Q&A. We are responding to questions. Please do not raise your hand. That is not a feature that we're able to use today. Ms. Severe, also, if you get in your email some students who have trouble joining the meeting, please just share with them the direct Zoom link to the meeting. Some students are trying to join by logging into Zoom and they're logging in incorrectly. So if you just share the invite link with them, it will work. And that's one of the reasons why it's taking a minute for us to get back to your questions, is because some people are still having problems logging in. So anyway, returning back to you who are here today, the focus of the rest of this presentation is going to be Naviance. What is Naviance? I'm going to be very happy to tell you what Naviance is in a moment, but first I want to show you how to log into it. So since you're in our presentation, you probably don't have more than one screen, so you can log in to Naviance in our presentation. So just watch for now, and later you can log into Naviance and play around with it because you already have an account set up. So how do you log into Naviance? If you are a Mountain View High School student, you are going to log into our main, you're not going to log into it, you're just going to go to the Mountain View High School's website. And on this banner here below the large picture, you have all of these different links lined up. You have to hit the arrow to get over to other link options. And that's what this screenshot is here. So right here is Naviance, where you can log into it as a Mountain View High School student. All right, if you are a Los Altos High School student, same process. You're going to go to Los Altos High School's website. Right underneath the main big picture on this website, you have different links that you can choose, and Naviance is right there. You don't even have to hit the arrow in order to log in. All right, or in order to find Naviance. Another place to launch the login for Naviance is ClassLink. Some of you really like ClassLink. Hopefully this sounds familiar of how to access it, but Naviance has a whole bunch of widgets in one place, and Naviance is one of those widgets that you can choose to use and to log into, just like you log into Aries or Gmail or Canvas. So it might be that in order to log into Naviance, you have to type in our zip code. Sometimes it bypasses the steps, sometimes it doesn't. If you're a Los Altos High School student, your high school zip code is 94022. If you're a Mountain View High School student, your zip code is 94040, okay? And then you come to this screen. This screen should look the same for everyone. What you're going to be using is the Continue with Single Sign-On button in order to log into Naviance. And you shouldn't have to input your email or any login information, okay? You might have to select your school email after this screen, but it should take you into the Naviance landing page. And then we're greeted by this screen here. So Naviance can be a little bit confusing in order to understand how to navigate to different pages because there are many different features in Naviance. If you notice, right, you're only logging into Naviance, you're not creating a Naviance account. So you just need to know how to log into it. And there it exists, and you'll have access to it all 4 years at Mountain View. In order to navigate between the different pages of Naviance, you use this top set of tabs here. So there's a self-discovery section, a career section, a college section, and a planner section of Naviance. We're going to go through different features today. The first thing that we want to show you and that we'll remind you about later is we would love for you to take a survey on Naviance for us today. For some of you, you haven't met with your school counselor or your academic counselor yet, right? We're college counselors. Ms. Price is a college advisor. Mrs. Wallace is a college counselor. But you might not have met with your academic or your school counselor yet, and we'd love to give them some information to learn about you and what you're thinking of now that you're in high school. So if you go over to the right-hand side, it should have your initials. This is just a practice account, so it just has made up initials. When you click on the little down arrow, you get a drop-down menu that has surveys here at the bottom, and you would hit surveys from your school. So you're going to take this later, not right now. You're just watching how to get there. And then you hit this survey here. You should be greeted by just one survey as an option, and it should be getting to know you class of 2028, because that's your class. So you'd select that survey, and this survey will take you less than 5 minutes, I think like 3 minutes tops, to answer a few questions in order for your school counselor, your academic counselor to get to know you a little bit better when they're meeting with you this year. Um, Next, I believe we are now going to listen to Mrs. Avera talk about a wonderful feature in Naviance that you can use at any time when you're at Mountain View. So she is going to talk about tracking activities in Naviance.
Okay, great. Yes. So in your 4 years of high school, you are going to do so many different activities. So it's 2024 right now, and by the time that the fall of 2027 rolls around, you will be a senior because you're graduating in spring of 2028. And by the time that fall of your senior year comes around, you are going to forget all of the awesome activities that you have participated in during your time in high school. So, one of the features of Naviance that's really helpful is that it can store a resume for you. So, there's two ways to do this. One of the things you can do, and this is what I recommend the most, is that when you go to the resume section, it's underneath the icon with your initials and it says resume. There's going to be a pink button, which you can see here in the purple square. And from there, you have two options. You can click on it, and under objective, you can just insert a Google Doc where you keep track of all the activities that you've done. And you really want to make sure that that setting is viewable by anyone so that your school counselor can view it. Or when you click on the pink circle with the plus sign, you can go in and it'll ask you different activities you've done. So you can see on this slide here that it says extracurricular activities. There will also be areas where it says volunteering, work, so whichever way you prefer. I do want to clarify that the only people that see this resume are you, your college and career center counselors, and your school counselor. So colleges don't see this resume, just you and those other staff members. But it's very important to keep it up to date, because what we don't want to have happen is that you come to the start of senior year and you're like, what did I do spring of sophomore year? What was that activity I volunteered for? Or what was the name of the musical I did in freshman year? So do yourself a favor and keep track of those things now. Okay, so on the next slide, we're going to show you some of the ways that you can use Naviance to learn more about yourself. So as you can see, this is under the self-discovery tab. So the self-discovery tab has lots of different kind of like choose your own adventure type of activities that you can do. So keep in mind that this is not like an exact science. If you do one of these quizzes and it doesn't resonate with you, like that's totally okay. It's just another way that you can potentially start thinking about yourself or your strengths or different areas of interest in a different way. So you can see that they all have the start assessment button, and then maybe you do one now in ninth grade, and then you go back and you can see on this slide career interest profiler, and you do it again in junior year because you might have different answers as you grow and change over time. Okay. So I definitely recommend that you explore the career interest profiler. Holland traits is just something that's used in the world of psychology and career development to categorize different ways of thinking about different types of career areas that you might be interested in. And then on the next slide, we have something that's about personality type. Um, so this student who took this test, it says that their personality type is an ENFJ, and that's just a different way of thinking about how you act in the world, how you perceive situations, what you prefer. Um, so again, you might take this in ninth grade and hear that you're an extrovert, and then you might take it again junior year and hear that you're an introvert. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong answer. It's just a way to get to know yourself a little bit better. So these can be really fun if you ever just need a break from homework, but you want to do something, somewhat productive. We recommend that you come to the self-discovery area in Naviance to check out what it says and learn more about yourself. Okay. And then on the next slide, it is going to talk about recommended careers. So under the career exploration, you can see some information about potential careers for you. Um, I just really want to say, like, please keep in mind that, this is just an exploratory tool. So if you're given a career that you're like, this doesn't sound like me at all, that's okay. Like, you can leave that recommendation. You are the expert on yourself, not an assessment on Naviance. But it can be really fun to get you to think about other careers that you might have forgotten about or didn't realize existed. So use it as it best suits you. But if you get a response that you feel like doesn't work for you, like that's okay too. And I think it's really fun, like I said before, to take it over time to see how things change from when you're in ninth grade to later on in high school. Um, yeah, so definitely spend some time here today, checking out all the different self-assessments. The only other thing I'll say is that where it says the median salary, which would be like the average amount of money you would make, that is going to vary wildly, depend on where you're located in the United States, which company you're working for. So I would use this tool more as thinking about different types of jobs that are out there and different careers and what is required in order to have that career. So on this page, for example, you can see if you want to be an audiologist, you go to high school, you go to college, and you complete something called your undergraduate degree, and then you have to continue on to get what's called a graduate degree or a master's degree or a doctorate. And then to be a tutor, you go to high school, you go to college, and then you don't need to go to graduate school to be a tutor. So this can also help you understand the pathways to getting to a potential career that you're interested in. Okay, and then on the next slide, is there anything else you wanted me to say about these slides, Miss Lowe? Yes.
For MVHS students, I believe the survey, you were not able to access it. I just activated it again. So if you try again, you should be able to access the Getting to Know You survey very soon. Naviance is giving me a problem, but
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. And now Miss Lowe is going to talk to you about the college search side of Naviance.
all righty. So um, when it comes to different features of Naviance that you can use, there are a few features that we've gone over today. One of students' favorites to use is the college search tool. So you probably don't know a lot about college. That's really normal at this point in the process. That's totally fine. That's what we expect. But we're going to show you some tools that you can use. Something that I think might be helpful for you right now, though, is to do a little check-in. So I just activated the chat. So you should be able to share with us in the chat some of the subjects are right now what your favorite subject or classes in high school. So if you can take a moment and open up the chat feature. We'd love to know what some of your favorite classes are in high school right now. Great. History, choir, computer science, biology. Biology is popular. Math with a fire emoji. All right, coming out strong. Lunch. Ooh, okay. Maybe we could do some more things. Ceramics. Okay. A lot of different things. I love this. So, when it comes to what your favorite subject was in sixth grade, a few years ago, think back, was it the same class? Okay, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. A lot of people change what their academic interests are over the course of high school. That's perfectly normal, right? Or maybe it stays the same. Maybe sixth grade you still really likes what current you also really enjoys. Keep on over the course of high school reflecting on your academic interests of what you do or do not enjoy, because this can help inform maybe what you want to study in college. You don't need to know what you're majoring in right now. A lot of our seniors actually don't know what they want to major in, but checking in with your academic interests throughout high school is a really good idea. So when it comes to Naviance, how can you research colleges if you don't know your major, which you won't for a while? We recommend that on the college, on this bar here to navigate between the tabs, you click colleges. And in the research colleges section, you'll get the section of advanced college search. One preference that you can use to search for different colleges we recommend is location. So if you see yourself right now staying in California, then let's limit that search to California. Or maybe you have family on the East Coast. You can add regional colleges on the East Coast of the United States. Or maybe you're thinking even international. So you can search by location for different colleges using this feature. Another way to look at colleges is by setting. So when it comes to settings for our high schools, Los Altos and Mountain View, both of our high schools are set in very suburban settings. That means you don't have to go far to get access to a city and a bunch of hustle bustle, potentially some internships, right? But you're also not located in a city where there are a lot of distractions and a lot of things to do. You're in a setting where it is, kind of peaceful. You can walk outside and do some homework if you want to, and it's very calm. You're also, though, not in a setting that's rural. You're not in the middle of a cornfield for your high school, right? There are places, shops to go to a little bit of a ways, but they're there. So setting is another way to check out different colleges that you may or may not be interested in before you figured out what exactly you want to study. So here on this screen, the student who did this search pulled up UC Santa Barbara. And when they clicked on it, right, they're greeted by all of these different information tabs. So if you wanted to do a virtual tour of UC Santa Barbara, you could click on that right here and you could be connected with the virtual tour. If you want information about the school, that's this set of tabs: Overview, Study, Student Life, Admissions. The Admissions tab is pretty cool in that it actually has information about Mountain View specific students and Los Altos High School specific students about their admissions data. So you can get access to that, and that's very specific. And then if you really like UC Santa Barbara and you want to come back to it later when you're doing more college research, when you figured out more things, you can hit the heart button and that'll save it into a college list for you, and you don't have to go searching for it again. Another tool that I think is pretty fun, in addition to Naviance to research colleges, is actually through College Board. So their part of College Board that focuses all on college research is called College Board Big Future. So they have a few more simple buttons in order to research colleges, right? Location is one that I had already mentioned. There are many different preferences you can use to look at different colleges. And when it comes to the pages of information for different colleges for College Board Big Future of how they're organized, this is how they organize them. They have this tab. Keep in mind, with College Board Big Future, they're not going to have specific information about Mountain View students or about Los Altos High School students. They do have this really fun feature, though, of if you liked Santa Clara, you could also like these schools, and it makes other suggestions, which can be really helpful to learn about colleges that are kind of similar to one another. Santa Clara is a wonderful private school located pretty close to us if you just want to get an idea of what a medium-sized college or university looks like. All right, so now Ms. Sever and I are going to go through some common questions that you might have. We realize that there are still quite a few questions in the Q&A. You guys are asking great questions. But for now, we're going to highlight some things that you might be thinking or you might not be thinking. So, Mrs. Sever, when I apply to college, do I even have a chance of getting in?
Yes. Okay. So I totally get that, you might feel really overwhelmed, or maybe you're hearing like, oh my gosh, getting into college is really, really hard. I hear that it's so hard and I don't know, is it even going to happen? Is it even going to be worth it? And yes, you absolutely can go to college. Anybody that wants to go to college can go to college. So part of our job in the College and Career Center is helping you understand all the different types of colleges that are out there. And that, really every year, most colleges accept most students. So really keep that in mind that anybody that wants to go to college can absolutely go to college. Um, yeah.
Excellent.
So the other thing is that sometimes students ask, do colleges do they really care about grades? Like, is that important? Like, I'm in ninth grade right now. Like, does that matter? Yeah.
A really good question. When it comes to what colleges look at in admissions, all colleges have different things that they might emphasize. So, because you're in ninth grade right now, what I can tell you is that most commonly, one of the most important things to colleges are your grades and the classes that you choose to take. So, they are important to colleges. They are not the only thing that they look at. However, they do not distill you down to a GPA. They are often looking at the whole picture of who you are. Really good question. So I want to learn about like community colleges versus applying directly to four-year colleges or like transferring or like how does that work? How should I like look at those pathways right now if that's what I'm trying to figure out as a ninth grader?
Yes. Okay. So great question. So in the landscape of college admissions, there is something called community colleges. So very close to us at Mountain View and Los Altos, that would be Foothill College and De Anza College. But there are literally hundreds of community colleges all within California and other states as well. So a community college is also sometimes called a two-year college, and that is where you go for 2 years. So you do your freshman and sophomore year of college at community college, and then you transfer in as a junior to a four-year college to finish junior and senior year at San Jose State, for example, Santa Clara University, Chico. Um, so community college is 2 years. You cannot earn a bachelor's degree at community college. You have to transfer on to a four-year college to earn um, that bachelor's degree. And we bring community colleges to the College and Career Center at both Mountain View and Los Altos for seniors in the spring to help students who want to go to community college first. And then we also bring four-year colleges in the fall to talk to seniors who want to go to four-year college. Okay, so my next question is, I saw this in the chat as well, so let's just talk about it now, which is, does Mountain View High School, does Los Altos High School have a volunteer hour requirement? What about that, or having some work experience while I'm in high school? What can you say to that?
Yeah. Um, there is not a volunteer requirement to graduate Mountain View High School or Los Altos High School. You're not required to volunteer a certain number of hours. Is it something great to include as part of your high school experience? Totally. Experiential learning is also like a fancy name for learning by doing something. Often, when it comes to what that looks like, that often means like an internship type of experience, right? You are learning a bunch of skills by doing them at that job. If you're interested in internships and work experience and volunteering, we have ways of of sharing those with our students at Mountain View and at Los Altos. We have activities lists that we post on our sections of the Los Altos High School website and the Mountain View High School website. We use Instagram to also highlight some opportunities. So please check out our websites with our activities lists that are updated with what we get shared with from the community. And just know that as a freshman, you probably won't be able to work yet because you're a little on the young side. So volunteering or unpaid internships is probably going to be the way to go for now. All right, so I'm feeling very excited after this conversation, Miss Bear. How do I get started applying to college?
Great question. Yes. So, good news, bad news. You do not need to start applying to college right now at all. So, in ninth grade, your main focus is, really just getting used to being in high school, the transition from middle school to high school. Um, but in the back of your mind, you're curious. You're thinking, yeah, what is it that I like? How do I learn best? What kind of environments do I like? So that's why we showed you before some of the tools that are on Naviance. You don't actually start applying to college until the fall of your senior year is when you can actually work on those applications. And then spring of your junior year is when we really hope that you start to do the research around thinking about what kind of colleges you want to add to your list to apply to the fall of your senior year. So you're still in that exploration phase where you're thinking about what do I want to do? How do I learn best? What subjects do I like the most? What subjects do I not like? And then you actually don't create your application accounts to apply to college until fall of senior year. So you have plenty of time. We're just giving you a preview for it now. Um, and then Miss Lowe kind of answered this one before, but how do I find a job or career? So, there's working in high school, like if you want to have a job, I worked in high school. But then there's also thinking about your job or career for once you're done with high school and what you're going to study in college and, what you're going to do to earn a living once you are in the land of adulthood. So, how do I even start to think about that?
Yeah, so I'm going to focus on the career piece. How do I figure out what's going to be like my career long term professionally? A lot of students dip into this field and experience by doing internships when they're in college. So over the summer, you can do internships. So you can get in 3 internships before you graduate. There are even some colleges called co-op universities where they incorporate time into the academic calendar to do an internship during the school year. So by doing an internship, you are working a professional job. It depends on if it's one day a week or if it's the full 5 days, right? In the summer, you could spend the full summer, the full 5 days doing an internship. And that gives you really good exposure to different career possibilities and also gives you a lot of different contacts and people who you know in different industries. And that way you can get exposure to different things that you might be interested in. So we really recommend exploring careers by utilizing internship experiences in college, most likely. Um, Last but not least, so we did this presentation today, but there seems to be so many counselors at Mountain View. So who are all these different counseling departments? There's academic, college and career, and social and emotional. Like, what's the difference? What's going on with those, Mrs. Aver?
Yes. Okay. Great question because I know it can be confusing. So as I was saying at the beginning, um, you have your school counselor who is the person that stays with you during your time at Los Altos or Mountain View High School. So your school counselor, like I said, is maybe Miss Wise or Mr. Romo, Mr. Marquine, depends on who you're assigned. That is the person that helps you with thinking about the classes you want to take at Mountain View or Los Altos. That's the person who helps you develop your 4-year plan, which is making sure that you're going to register for classes that have you graduate from high school and then also make sure that you're eligible to apply to a 4-year college. Um, those are counselors that you have scheduled appointments with throughout the year. You send them emails. You can drop in to see them during lunch. Um, and then we do also have therapists on site, which is a different type of counselor, separate from the school counselors and the college and career center. But you can, talk to anybody about any social emotional issues as well, of course. And then you have a college and career center counselor. So while you're in ninth and 10th grade, the College and Career Center is available to you to come drop in during lunch. We host events sometimes in the quad during lunch. Sometimes we do evening events. We're going to have a job and volunteer fair later in the spring. And then when you're a junior, you will be assigned a College and Career Center counselor. So Los Altos has a system for how they do that, and Mountain View, we have a system for how we do that. Um, does that answer that question? Is there anything else to add about the difference between the types of counselors?
Nope.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay. We also just want to emphasize from today, there are just many opportunities at both of our high schools. So when it comes to what can you do as a ninth grader right now, pay attention to the announcements, the daily bulletins, get involved at different clubs at Los Altos or Mountain View. Use act time or tutorial time in a way that's productive. By listening to if your teachers recommend that you be in their tutorial or act time. Get to know your teachers and also use the resume feature to document your activities in class. Before we do the final slide, I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen. Because a few of you had questions about Naviance, and it appears that since we created this presentation, they changed where some things live in Naviance. So if you were looking for the survey of getting to know you, right? You probably saw in my screen there weren't as many tabs. They added a few tabs. So you have to hit the About Me feature, and there are surveys, and you click on surveys from your school. So that's where the Getting to Know You feature should be. Mountain View, it should be activated now. It did let me activate it. For the college search feature under research colleges, was where it used to be for the advanced college search. Now it's under Find Your Fit. Advanced college search is where that college search is. So sorry, Naviance always updates and they don't necessarily tell us that they've changed the view of it, but that's where those things live. All right, so then let's go back to the other screen of the Google form that you will get.
Oh, and I would just add that the resume is going to be depending. Some people have different views of Naviance, so would be under the About Me tab as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're sorry about that. Yeah.
All right, so here is the exit ticket for today. This presentation and the recording will be shared with you and with all of your freshman classmates if they weren't able to make it here today. But you can use your phone and you can scan this QR code in order to access the Google Form exit ticket that you need to complete in order to show that you were attending today. Right.
Yeah, I'll also add that it says it looks like for a few people that the class of 2028 survey might still not be showing up. So, like Miss Lowe just said, what's really important is that you do this form here, this QR code. This is part of your tracking what you did today. So if you're sitting here right now and the survey is not working for you, you can still see this QR code. So please take out your phone and scan this. And we will also send these slides out in later on this afternoon once the recording is finalized.
I'm also going to share in the chat the link to the Google form because a bunch of you do not have your phone
Mm.
or have a phone. So let's see. Yeah, that link should work. So try that link in the chat in order to access the Google Form exit ticket right now. If you do not have your phone, um, if you don't know what VISP or option B is, then you don't do it. All right, are people able to access it? I'm assuming. Okay. All right. And anything else you would like to add, Mrs. Avere, before we are all done here today?
Yeah, just thank you so much, everyone. If for some reason you're not able to get the form, although we both just double checked it, you can send me an email. Um, Definitely do the Google form. Yeah, very important. Thank you for coming today. I know that for some of you there were a few tech challenges, so we really appreciate you coming here. Also, just wanted to share that we know this is a lot of information just in a very brief period of time. So this is just meant to give you a preview. And all of this information will be touched on at later points in your high school experience as well. So this is just the initial overview. Yeah, and thank you for coming. Hope you have a good Wednesday today.
The recording will be shared as soon as it's formatted, which based on the gods of Zoom could be 10 minutes, it could be an hour. So the recording is not going to come out instantly. So I would check your email in about an hour and a half if you want to reference the recording again. All right, thank you so much and have a great rest of your Wednesday.